Okay, good evening and welcome to what has been for the last week our house, our home, our living space, and all the accoutrements that we've been using you can see around. Down here we've got the quernstones that we've been using to grind our corn, to make our flour, and the groups who've been coming in have been active using those. In the corner here we've got Alan's bed, and you can see he's got his clothes hanging up there. He's in his Sunday best at the moment because he's out doing something with another group. We've got our loom over here, so that we've been able to do some weaving. And then broadcast corner you'll recognise because that's where Alan has spoken to you pretty much every day. And you can see we've still got the pot that we collected, the wool cleaner, he said, smiling in. And we can see the fleece in the corner, one or two other bits and pieces. On top we're still trying to make our cheese and butter from our milk. So that's just on the table over there. And here is Chris's bed. My bed's out of shot because I've been told I'm a naughty boy. I haven't made it properly, so they won't film it. And I might have to sleep outside today as a punishment. Anyway, over here, some of the wool that's been prepared for weaving a little later. As we go outside in a minute, we're going to show you the living space where we've been doing our cooking and our food preparation, and also the oven that we made yesterday and started to use for the first time today. We're still waiting to see just how good the results are going to be as we practice cooking the bread, because clearly it takes a little bit of practice to get it right. So if you'd like to join me outside now. You can see our clay oven, a little bit cracked around the edges. We're still thinking about problem solving that one. How can we best do that? And we think probably what we should have done if we'd had the time was cover it with earth first, and that might have just absorbed some of the heat to stop the cracking of the clay. So it might try and solve that one over the weekend, see if we can come back to that one a little later. Over here, this is something that the children in two groups that are coming in to join us tomorrow are going to be working with. It's all laid out and ready for them. You saw a little bit of Chris splitting wood before, and he's been very, very busy making some more mallets today and some more wedges. As I say, the children are going to be using these. The schools visiting tomorrow from local schools from Bridport are going to be using these to try and split these logs for us to top up our wood pile again, because we've got through a fair bit of wood over the last 3 days, keeping that fire going so that we can do our cooking. And the fire area over here, all laid out ready, because I've been tasked this evening with cooking supper. The other two chaps are working with a group, trying to do some work with them. So I'm here, they're risking my culinary delights, and I'm looking forward to preparing some food. You'll see me doing that in about 5 minutes' time. We've got some really nice trout for this evening, and I've been out and foraged some wild herbs to cook with it. And I'll talk you through that in a few minutes' time once we've finished the tour of the site. We're lucky enough over here to have some fruit, not this part of the season, a little later in the season. Incidentally, Alan's pottage is already cooking. Pottage again for Alan as a vegetarian. But in the background you can see those aren't the heads of warriors that we've managed to capture. It is in fact the wool we've been dyeing. The very, very light wool in the middle is as it is once it's been washed. And we've had varying success. If you'd like to come this way. I think probably the most successful we've been so far is with the onion skins. As you can see, the wool has come up a particularly pleasant colour. The muslin cloth, a little bit less bright, but nonetheless it is very well coloured, considering it started as a white cloth bag. But the beetroot, we're a little disappointed. We're not sure whether we quite used the recipe correctly. It hasn't really coloured the fleece hugely, and neither, unfortunately, did the dandelion. But if you look in the pot here, we tried some stinging nettle today, boiled that up, and that's beginning to look really quite green, and we think we may have hit on a success here with nettles. So we'll be hanging that one out to dry tomorrow. And as we pan round the rest of the fruit garden, we've got some rhubarb, and then over here we've got the herb garden. Alan's done some nice little decorative fencing here, more wattle. And there's a selection of herbs that we've been using to flavour our food, including primroses. Now, you will see me using primroses a little bit later with this evening's supper. Because they're here, we couldn't go out into the hedgerows and pick them because picking wildflowers is illegal. But if they're growing on your own property, then that's fine, and that's what we have here. And then finally, as we pass the chickens who've been providing our eggs, we're very pleased to have finished our animal compound to keep our animals safe. And as you're probably aware, we have our 2 lambs already installed and looking very comfortable in their new homes. And they are looking particularly cute this evening. So, I hope you've enjoyed having a tour of the site and seeing where we've been spending our week. And we look forward to broadcasting again tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.